Hello and welcome. US President Donald Trump has issued an ultimatum to Somalis living in America. He has ended the temporary protected status for several thousand Somalis, and they must leave the country by March the 17th. What is the Trump administration saying to the Somali nationals? Well, temporary means temporary. Buy a one-way ticket to your country, go back, or we will send you back ourselves. We are putting Americans first. That's the core idea behind this ultimatum. The US Department of Homeland Security also posted a picture of Trump with a caption, "I am the captain now." This is a reference to the film Captain Phillips, in which a tanker is seized by Somali pirates. Why is this move significant? Well, the Temporary Protected Status, or TPS, protects certain foreigners from deportation to disaster zones and allows them the right to work. But the Trump administration believes that Somalis no longer need it. Why? Because it claims that the conditions in Somalia have improved. But there is a level of irony in this statement. The US has been regularly bombing ISIS targets in Somalia. The latest airstrike was conducted last weekend. In fact, since Trump's return to the White House last year, the US has dramatically stepped up airstrikes in Somalia. Now the question is, if living conditions in Somalia have improved, why is the US going on with its bombing spree? Now that the Trump administration has revoked the protected status for Somalis, the move is going to impact thousands of Somali nationals living in the US, and the largest community lives in Minnesota. It has around 80,000 members. Minnesota has been at the center of Trump's anti-immigration crackdown. His administration has accused Somali nationals of large-scale public benefit fraud. 98 people accused of embezzlement of public funds face federal charges. And US Attorney General Pam Bondi has stressed that 85 of them were of Somali descent. Last week, federal officers killed a local woman in Minnesota, sparking protests. Despite the backlash and mounting public anger, Trump has doubled down on his anti-Somalia tirade. He has called the Minnesota ICE protests fake. The US is also set to revoke citizenship of naturalized Somali immigrants guilty of fraud.
We're getting them out. We've got a lot of them out already, but we're getting them out. We're also going to revoke the citizenship of any naturalized immigrant from Somalia or anywhere else who is convicted of defrauding our citizens. We're going to get them the hell out of here fast. And if you come to America to rob Americans, we're throwing you in jail and we're sending you back to the place from where you came.
And then there's Ilhan Omar, a Democratic representative from Minnesota who is of Somali descent. The US president has sparred with her on multiple occasions.
To imprison any fraudster, politician, or public official involved in these sick plots to loot and pillage our country. Think of that Ilhan Omar. She lives in Somalia. They don't have a government. They don't have a military. They don't have police. They don't have anything. All they have is murder and robbing ships, bringing in ships, pirates.
Whether it is Somalis living in the US or the Somali government, Donald Trump has vowed to spare none. Trump has ended all aid to the Somali government, accusing it of fraud. Amid Trump's growing hostility and revocation of the TPS, the fate of several thousand Somali nationals living in the US is hanging in limbo. And for more on this, joining us is Meki El Maghrabi, an international affairs expert live from Cairo in Egypt. Welcome to Firstpost Africa.
Thank you, Joshua, and thank you for the audience of Firstpost Africa.
Let's first look at this ultimatum that Trump is giving, referring to the protected status of so many Somalis living in the US. How significant is this for them?
I think Trump's move most likely to face immediate challenges through American courts, and the implementation may be delayed, may be blocked, or partially stopped by the judiciary, because we witnessed the same game before. But the contradiction is here. When Trump canceled the TPS, temporary protected status, based on the situation improved in Somalia, but Trump himself is always saying they don't have president, they don't have government, they don't have nothing. So that if the situation improved, that means he should change his idea about Somalia, and that will be one of the evidence in front of the courts when they look at the case.
Let's now look at a specific post that Trump has made, of course, referring to himself as the captain, implications with Somali pirates. How damaging is this on the global stage, given there are also tensions currently ongoing within Somalia?
It is damaging because we have enough of hate language or hate situation among the world, but it is nothing more than dark comedy. And Trump is always being the king of this political comedy. So, but my question here, we have never heard about Somali pirates through our life just after the war in Somalia and after the Western intervention, American intervention and the Western intervention. So who made some Somali pirates? It is the war, and it is America itself, and it is the interventionist policy that Trump himself challenged and said that it was wrong for the United States to go and invade other countries. And he criticized what happened in Iraq, in Libya, and in others. And I think if there are some Somali pirates, USA is the reason of that.
Meki, I want to look at some of the rhetoric that Donald Trump has used to describe Somalis living in the US and beyond. Of course, looking at Ilhan Omar as well. Some have described it as racist. Do you see it as that, or is this strategic from Trump? And if so, why?
I think we don't need to fuel the internal conflict inside the United States. Unfortunately, the Somalis now are paying the price that the relation between Trump and Ilhan Omar is bad. So Ilhan Omar challenged Trump, and Trump is firing back, and Ilhan is criticizing. So now Somali people, now they are in the crossfire between this situation. And actually it is fight between Republicans and the Democrats. Unfortunately, the Arab and the Muslims, now they feel that they betrayed by Trump because they supported him in the election. And that because of the position of the Democrats regarding Gaza and the Palestinian rights. Because they failed the Palestinians and they betrayed the Palestinians, then the Somalis and maybe among the Arabs and the Muslims, they supported Trump just like to challenge the Democrats. But now they are not getting anything good from Trump, and that is not good for the relation between Trump and the Arab people inside his countries and the Africans and the African worldwide.
And Meki, briefly to finish, do you think there is anything that Somalia and the wider African community can do to counter Trump's rhetoric and actions?
I think the court will see the case. And based on the situation that the Somali people, they are need to have shelter in some other countries and to have safe havens in other countries, based on Trump saying that Somalis have no country, have no president. They do have president, and very wonderful president, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, but unfortunately, it is in evidence in front of the court. So I think Somalis will win the legal case.
Meki El Maghrabi, as always, thank you ever so much for joining us on First Post Africa.
The world doesn't fit in boxes, so why should your news? From battlefields to negotiation tables, from internet outrage to real-world injustice. The conversations everyone is having and the ones they're avoiding. It's the same show, but this new year, First Post America gets a new look. I'm Kerry Johnston, and this is First Post America.